Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Maya, and this channel is all about building real financial freedom, not just chasing a bigger paycheck. In the last few videos, we've talked about something that a lot of people experience: making decent money, but still feeling financially stuck. We talked about why that happens. We talked about spending intentionally. We talked about paying off debt. And in the last video, we talked about saving your first $10,000. Now today we're going to talk about the next question most people ask once they reach that milestone. What do you actually do with that money? How do you invest your first $10,000? Now before we get into specific ideas, I want to start with something really important. Investing isn't about finding the perfect stock. It's about building a system. Because the truth is, consistency beats cleverness almost every time. So if I were starting over today with my first $10,000, here's how I would think about it. The first thing I would do is make sure my financial foundation is solid. Before investing heavily, you want a few things in place. You want a basic emergency fund. You want high-interest debt under control. And you want a little breathing room in your budget, because investing works best when you're not constantly pulling money back out for unexpected expenses. Once that foundation is there, investing becomes much easier to stick with. The second step would be starting with simple index funds. A lot of new investors think they need to pick individual stocks, but historically, broad market index funds have been one of the most reliable long-term strategies available. These funds track large sections of the market. For example, funds that follow the S&P 500 invest in hundreds of major companies all at once. Which means instead of betting on one company, you're investing in the overall economy. This approach keeps things simple, low cost, and diversified. The third step would be investing through tax-advantaged accounts, if possible. For many people, that means accounts like a Roth IRA or a 401k through work. These accounts allow your investments to grow with certain tax advantages, which can make a massive difference over time. The key idea here isn't complexity, it's efficiency. Because over decades, small advantages compound into big outcomes. The fourth step is spreading your investments instead of putting everything in one place. Some people choose to split investments across different index funds, for example, a US market fund, an international fund, and sometimes a bond fund depending on risk tolerance. The goal here is balance, not prediction. You're building a portfolio that can grow steadily over time, even when markets fluctuate. The fifth step is something people underestimate, and that's continuing to invest consistently. Your first $10,000 is important, but what really builds wealth is what happens after that. Monthly investing, automatic contributions, adding to your investments as your income grows. This is where compounding really starts to work. Because over long periods of time, your money starts earning returns on previous returns, and that's when growth accelerates. And the sixth step is probably the hardest one. Stay patient. Investing isn't a straight line. Markets rise, markets fall. Sometimes the news makes things feel uncertain, but historically, long-term investors who stay consistent tend to benefit from the overall growth of the economy. So instead of reacting to every market headline, focus on the system, invest consistently, give your investments time to work. The truth is, building wealth rarely comes from one perfect decision. It comes from hundreds of small, consistent decisions over time. Saving regularly, investing steadily, staying disciplined when emotions try to take over. And if you can do those things, your first $10,000 can eventually grow into something much larger. If you've started investing already, I'd love to hear what your first investment was. Leave a comment and let me know. And if this video helped you think differently about investing, subscribe to the channel. We're building financial freedom step by step, talking about spending, saving, debt, and investing in ways that actually work in the real world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.